Hello, and welcome to the Beyond Average Journeys Through Growth and Value interview series. And I'm your host, Kristen Carlson. And today I have Pablo, and director of business development at MC2 Agency in Hollywood, Florida. So, Pablo, thank you for joining us today.
That's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. And can you just share a little bit about your background and how you started MC2?
Absolutely. I came from the real estate world, already doing a lot of marketing on my own as a loan originator before the 2008 debacle.
Okay.
So from there, I just started doing all types of advertising on the newspaper. Modifications came into play. I was going hard at that with some telemarketers trying to create business opportunities. But it just got very tiresome. It was a very tough time in real estate. I was dealing more instead of the actual transaction. The focus was trying to calm people down that were losing their homes, and it was very sad.
Yeah.
My actual branch manager at the time had already transitioned into radio. He became a promotions director for the oldest station here in the market, which is WQAM 560. And he had asked me if I was interested in coming over and working promotions. The money wasn't great, but it was really good exposure, and it was very fun because I got to work with programs like the Miami Dolphins, the University of Miami football program, while I was still working during the day and trying to keep afloat with my mortgage and modification business. But slowly but surely, a sales position opened up, and I transitioned over into Beasley Broadcasting, which is the cluster that owned Kiss Country, 560 WQAM, and Power 96, which are three big stations in this market. At that time, Power 96 seemed like a better fit for me, so I just jumped over to the sister station, and I loved it because I was in my mid 20s, and I worked there basically at the perfect demographic. It's an 18 to 34 station, so it was fun. I had a lot of great connections, a great networking with amazing people, and it built a lot of bridges for me. So from there, I stayed at Power 96 doing sales, for I want to say until 2013. And then I was recruited by an agency called Star Performance Marketing, which is a great, huge agency. They're just strictly about auto. So that they have, I think, over like 160 dealerships right now, if I'm not mistaken. Most of them on the East Coast. So I was hired as a regional manager there. I had a good opportunity there as well, and I was able to learn a lot more about different types of media, not just radio. So there, it was a good crash course for me with TV, digital, every outdoor, so pretty much a lot of traditional stuff, but a lot of the digital strategy as well. After being there for a while, I felt like it was great, but dealing with just auto, I had some pretty good accounts. I had a big Harley Davidson account with 5 dealerships, so I was doing a lot of traveling. And I also had a couple local accounts with some dealerships here in South Florida. It was a lot of work, but it was very rewarding. And my boss at the time, Thomas Manning, he taught me a lot. He was a great mentor for me when it came to knowing everything about the agency world. So from there, I just decided to start my own thing. I wanted to stay home a little bit more. I was living in Miami Beach. I wanted to cater to different industries, not just to the auto dealerships. I took a little gamble, but I think it worked out. That was I want to say almost 11 years ago when I started MC2 Agency. I picked up a really great account in the beginning, which was Miami-Dade County Public Schools. Their technical colleges do a lot of advertising for the technical college programs, and I was given a good opportunity there. Typically, agencies start with the creative, like a creative director. Uh, my situation was, the agency started with a business development, which that's my focus. So I had to bring in creatives and, trial and error. I had to subcontract some people, and it wasn't easy in the first couple of years, but then we turned the corner and here we are, and it's, so far so great. So yeah, I hope that answers kind of the
Yeah.
question.
So how big is your team now?
Well, right now we have four that are, in-house, and then we have one person that comes in, Scott Coventry. He comes in on projects, depending on the project. But it's really, I used to have a much larger team prior to COVID. But it's we had to make some adjustments and change things around. And then with the team that we put together during that time, we realized that it's all we need really to
Right.
operate. So we're really happy where we are right now.
Awesome. And did you learn some things along the way to refine your process of hiring people or coaching people that you can target the right people to be in your company?
That's something that I've always suffered. I want to say it's always been a challenge for me,
Mhm.
hiring, because I guess I become a softie when it comes to wanting to give someone an opportunity. So I went through a lot of trials and tribulations with hiring, and luckily I was able to put some people on my team that do a better job at that. So now instead of it just being me to make the final decision, they have to go through a couple of layers to get to the fruit, I guess you would say, to know if they're going to be a good fit for us or not. So
And that and that's great, right? So I think getting the team involved and especially leveraging their strengths and realizing where your strengths are,
absolutely.
perfect. So what's your vision for this year? Where would you like the company to be at the end of the year?
Well, AI has really thrown a curveball at us. A lot of services we used to provide, now we're not getting as much, so we had to make some adjustments. But on the other hand, it's also helped us with expediting projects. It's helped us with deadlines. So it's kind of been a double-edged sword. Well, I want to say bittersweet, in the sense that things are moving so fast right now in our industry that it's hard to kind of gauge sometimes. But I think that we have a pretty good grip, especially because we're also an agency that handles a lot of traditional, so that's more of a branding kind of awareness that we do with our campaigns, whereas we do digital as well. So it's more like a lot of people that are just focused on one thing. It's very competitive. What we offer the client is we offer them a complete solution. Obviously based on their budget and what they're trying to do, what their goals are. We strive on good service, and we have, we work heavily off of benchmarks. So we want to make sure that we pinpoint what are we trying to do with these campaigns. What are you trying to get to with your efforts, and then we kind of take them there. It's a little bit easier now, because you have analytic data to help you along the way, so you could be changing things slightly as you go along. But if to answer your question, where would I like to be? I guess we would like to be in a position where our printing division, which we just started, it's something that we would like to see grow more. We have some great creatives, and we've gotten a lot of business just based on referrals, because it's not something that we originally thought we were going to be offering, printing. But because we do a lot of design work, and a lot of that goes into collateral pieces and stuff that we do for our digital designs for our clients and whatnot, when it was things that needed to be printed, we noticed that our clients were sending them to any printer, and the end product sometimes wasn't as great. So the expectations were kind of shot with that. So we felt like we could come in and take a little bit more control of that and take kind of that burden off of the client, because sometimes dealing with the printer is not easy. You got to know which kind of formats. Do you have the right color schemes, the codes? It's a lot of stuff that a lot of clients are not aware of. So we're like a one-stop solution now for them. Not only do we create the designs, their campaigns, but we also have our wholesale printers that we use, that we know that do great work. So we're more like printing brokers, but still very competitively priced. So
Right, and it sounds like that's helped you be more efficient, add more value for your clients, and you continue to tweak your business, right, as the market's changing so quickly.
oh yeah, it's constant adjustments. It's a lot of changes. I remember when I first started in radio, it was radio, TV, or newspaper, and
Yeah.
it was easy to sell against newspaper.
So how
And
has
now,
AI helped your business? I mean, what is taking your business? Is it helping you take your business to the next level?
it's helped a lot with copywriting. It's helped a lot with some of our media planning. Um, it's very helpful when you could, give some bullets to AI, and it comes out with, three sets of commercials that you could, put in front of a client within minutes and have them make whatever tweaks they want. Especially if you're working against a deadline, it's very convenient. I'm not an expert yet. My team is a lot more savvy with it, but I've been using it now myself for about 2 years, and I've been very happy with what we were able to do with it, and it's also helped me save some money because we used to subcontract and outsource. So that's pretty much you know how it's helped me, and what I think about AI. Obviously, that we're still like at 1.0 of AI. I'm curious to see what's coming next. But on the flip side, it's also a lot of services that we used to be able to provide our clients. Now they can easily use AI for. So we're still trying to figure out the kinks.
Right. So, what challenges did you have leaving the company that you were at and the comfort you were at and getting into your own business? Any advice you would give a starting entrepreneur?
The challenge I had was was believing that I could do it. Especially since it's not something I went to school for. Like I said, I came from a real estate background. Um, I think that if I look back now, and what I would say is I'm very happy that I had the type of confidence that I had when I was younger, because it made me really believe in what I could do, and I stuck to it. It was a lot of work, with no pay in the early on. But luckily, and thank God, I've had opportunities to just get by when I needed to, and then when we actually started growing as a company, I was able to see the fruits of my labor, and it was very rewarding. And it still is, just today, this morning, I had a production with one of our biggest clients, and they've been with us for I want to say over 10 years, since we started the company. So it's always good to see that a lot of people believe in us and that we have that type of credibility.
Excellent. Awesome. And any last advice? I mean, what are you looking for in your future with your employees? How do you keep them there? How do you keep them happy?
Well, I think that what I try to do is praise the good work, and be constructive with things that need to get better. I I never put them below me. I look at myself as part of the team. Actually, I put them first because I always position it as they're the ones that are doing the magic. I'm just here to tell you about it. And so I really try to make them feel like they are important, because they are. And I'm very aware that without them, none of this would be happening. So if they could own that, and it makes them feel like they want to, I believe that it makes them feel like they want to do more for the company. They want to see it prosper. Um, and again, I've had some great employees, and I've had some that didn't make the cut. And it's just, I feel like, especially when you're a small boutique style agency like ours, you have to really have the passion for wanting to grow. And a lot of times I always offer not only a fix, if it's a salary situation or an hourly rate or something, I always add a commission structure to that. So to keep them, with incentivized to do more. And I feel like if I make more, they are making more. I think that that's very important as well. So yeah, that's and listen, it's not. it's not a math formula. It's something that I'm
True.
still
It's
kind of
twofold.
figuring out, and it's especially with the younger generation. I want to make sure that I have a good understanding of where their mind is and their thought process when it comes to the structure and the protocols of the company. But I think so far it's been pretty good. I think that everyone's been pretty happy. I haven't had any crazy situations just yet. Let me knock on wood, but.
And I think you protect the culture too when you have the people that aren't fitting in, move on, right? I think the people that are strong in your firm will be thankful, that you're protecting the culture and protecting the team so you guys can be successful. So,
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's when you're working, since I'm on the sales side, and I think anyone that's been in any type of media or industry knows that there's the sales and then there's programming or creative, whatever you want to call it. But typically it's like there's always a battle because sales is focused on, the bottom line, where creative is focused on the output. But somehow we've been able to kind of be in concert. I'll use a phrase that my old sales manager, John Jarris, which also he's, been a big part of pushing me up and helping me in becoming what I am today. He would say, it's important for us to be singing out of the same hymnal. So I think that if you could kind of be the orchestrator and keep people happy, and know how to kind of gauge temperaments and emotions. It's a lot of psychology, I guess you could say as well.
it is.
But figuring it out still, and we're happy from where we are right now.
Well, congratulations on growing a great business and, really adjusting. It sounds like you've made the adjustments that you had to due to market conditions and other things going on to really build a successful business. So congratulations and thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.